Sooner fans, Longhorn Nation, welcome to episode 182 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, I'm coming at you on the road live, or whenever you're hearing this recording, somewhere on I-40 between Little Rock and Memphis on the way to Nashville. It's a family road trip. It's soccer. It's America. Basically, we're celebrating the American road. I am not driving the car. You don't have to worry about that. Kevin, we're going to talk about the OU schedule, and we're going to talk about the Texas schedule, and we're going to talk about the Red River rivalry. But really quickly, how'd you feel about that little dose of Sooner magic yesterday?
I wasn't surprised, man. You guys just do that. With this team, especially with this softball team, you guys have to be buried. You guys aren't out until you're out, And I heard that Patty Gasso was saying that some fans were actually leaving in the seventh inning. What were they thinking? It was 3-1.
That's shocking behavior.
Seriously. That was the most surprising part. But,
honestly, Kevin, you're right. It is more surprising that people were leaving than we had a walk-off home run.
Correct. Yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, you guys do that. You've won 4 straight natties. So that shouldn't surprise anyone. I know it's a different team, but, the program, it's all there, right? The confidence, the belief, the knowing how to handle these situations, especially at that ballpark. That's there. So people leaving was more surprising than you guys coming back despite not looking great offensively through 6 innings.
Well, hey, man, we're going to break that down. We're going to break down Texas's win over Florida, setting up an OU-Texas showdown on Saturday. But before we get to OU and Texas softball, we've got some breaking news as of yesterday. Early games for the SEC schedule have been announced. Game times, networks. Of no surprise on week 1, Texas is at Ohio State, August 30th, with a big noon kickoff. Rumor has it that Ohio State reached out to your athletic director, Chris Del Conte, and asked for a Sunday kickoff, and he told them to pound sand. Is that accurate?
I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is. Play the game Saturday, play it Saturday night. I'm trying to spend an extra day in Columbus. You've been there. You trying to spend an extra day in Columbus?
First of all, I love Columbus. It's a fantastic football town. Columbus is a fantastic football town, especially when you win, especially when you're planting a flag in the middle of their stadium. But other than that, it's outstanding. I don't know why Ohio State would want a Sunday game. I know why they don't want a 12 a.m. their time or a 12 p.m. their time kickoff. I still think a big noon kickoff is insane for Texas and Ohio State.
It is.
I don't understand how Fox doesn't go, you know what, early games, early weeks, let's just make the primetime game. Let's go up against whatever ESPN's offering, because it's not going to be as big as Texas and Ohio State.
No, there's nothing that can match it. Nothing.
It doesn't even make sense to me. I don't understand it. I'm glad Del Conte held firm, though. He's just one of those athletic directors that doesn't give a rip. He does what's in the best interest of Texas, and I appreciate it.
Well, I'm surprised that you're saying that, but because most people are, and again, I understand the fans' perspective of wanting the game to be Sunday night because it's just a perfect night for a football game. But for Texas, I feel like that gives an advantage to Ohio State, making it a Sunday night game. 11 o'clock. Hey, it's their fault. They're with the Big Ten. The Big Ten is with Fox. Fox puts their big games at 11 a.m. Not the fault of Texas. We're in the SEC, and the SEC would have had ESPN. ESPN or ABC would have made this a night game, 100%. So
No, I don't. I'm
No,
not
no
mad at
way,
Chris
no.
Del Conte. I'm not mad at Chris Del Conte at all. You've got to do what's the best thing for your program. You can't worry about
Right.
Ohio State. You can't worry. You can't even really worry about TV necessarily. Texas is going to get all the eyeballs regardless of when it's being played. So this isn't Oklahoma made the move a couple of years ago to play like on a Friday, but that was against a scrub team. I don't even remember who it was. Tulane maybe or something.
I
That
think
that
you played
got
Temple. That Temple game was Friday last year.
yeah. You see what I'm like? You're just trying to grab some eyeballs, give you a different time slot.
Yeah,
You don't need to do. You don't
I
need to do that with
completely
Ohio
understand
State.
that. No, no, people are going to watch whenever that game is played. People are
So
absolutely going
anyway,
to watch that. So
in Illinois State at Oklahoma is August 30th on ESPN Plus. Boo-hoo. Week 2,
yeah,
however,
they're definitely disappointing that there, but
look, we might talk a little bit about this 9-game schedule situation and some football playoff expansion. We just got to get rid of these. I don't care. I am not an SEC homer on this deal where I think we should just play these crappy teams. Like, I can't stand it. It drives me nuts.
yeah, I mean, yeah, playing those teams at the lower levels, it's never fun.
It just doesn't. It
People,
doesn't get me fired up, and I should be fired up
no,
for Oklahoma football.
especially game one. I mean, you just want to play a. I mean, even Temple was better than this, even though Temple was one of the worst teams in the country last year. It just sounds different.
Yeah, I don't get it. All right, but week 2 brings the University of Michigan to Oklahoma for a prime time kick on ABC. It's pretty local. I mean, does that pretty much guarantee game day is going to be there?
Yeah, I don't see how they aren't. I mean, I don't know who else is playing week 2, but it will be hard to top that. I mean, two blue bloods playing each other non-conference.
Prime time.
You
I just
can't
don't
top
think
it.
you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat it. I'm excited about that game. My wife's friend has a wedding scheduled for
Oh
September
no.
6th. I
Uh-huh.
told her when the save the date came out, and she's like, "Oh, well, it'll be okay. They'll probably go at 11 a.m." And I'm like, "No, this will be a
No,
primetime
they're
game."
not.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. If it was in
um,
Ann Arbor, it would be at it'd be at 11.
yeah,
But since it's in
Alice is gonna
Norman, no.
Alice is gonna have to tell her friend Jean Hopper, who's a wonderful lady, by the way. She's a great person, very, very, very pleasant. She's been very supportive of Alice throughout her career. That I will not be attending her wedding. Um, Honestly, it was 50-50 whether I was going to attend her wedding either way, just because I'm not a big wedding guy. But you throw
Okay.
primetime Michigan in there, like there's no freaking way.
Correct. I mean, yeah, I had to miss a friend's wedding back in 2005 when Texas was playing Ohio State. And as soon as I got the invite, I had to call him. I was like, "Hey, man, like I appreciate the invite, but I will not be there."
No, I wonder if she wants to go ahead and just change the wedding to a like a Friday night. Just go ahead and make the adjustment now. She's got time.
Correct. Yeah, it's still early.
I'm not.
It's
Here's the
still early.
problem, though, right, Kevin? Even if she moves it to Friday, there's probably not a good chance I'm going. You know what I mean? Like it's a wedding.
Yeah. Okay.
We've talked about
Okay.
your
Not
wedding
even
before.
not even to accompany Alice, just as straight up being a date.
Not even to accompany Alice. Nope, no, no
Okay.
way. I did go to your wedding. We've talked about your wedding. Your wedding was perfect, dude.
Yes,
It was on a time-sensitive situation.
it was.
It had Rudy's Tacos and
Yes.
was it Krispy Kreme donuts? What kind of donuts?
I know it was from this baker. I can't think of the name of it. It's a nice bakery up on the north side of Oklahoma City. So that's
Oh,
what it
like
was
Hertz
from.
or something? You think it was Hertz donuts, maybe?
No, it was a even a nicer place than that. I just can't think of the
Okay.
name.
Hey,
Yeah.
it was tacos and donuts, and it was at 10:30 in the morning, and it was perfect, dude. That's the way you should do weddings. Gene, if you're listening, reconsider maybe an early Saturday, like 9:30 in the morning wedding. Get some donuts and tacos, and you're going to guarantee some attendance. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, it just didn't take up your entire day. Didn't have to plan your whole day
Kevin,
around it.
it goes down as the greatest wedding of all time. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, hey,
My
I'll
wedding
take it.
lasted my wedding lasted 2 days. It was like a 2-day affair. I didn't get tacos and donuts.
That's okay. We live and learn, right?
Hey, listen. Okay. Anyway, Gene Hopper. There you go. There's your info. Let's jump to week 7 though. What this podcast is all about. OU Texas 2:30 tip in the Cotton Bowl. I like 2:30 tips when I'm watching it on TV. I don't know if I love 2:30 tips when I'm attending, especially after last year, dude. It was so hot. It's so miserable, and they ran out of water. If they don't get this water situation, if I don't have hard evidence on this water situation being figured out, I don't know what I'm going to do. Thoughts on 2:30 kicks?
Yeah, it's always fun on TV. Usually, it's fun being there. I wasn't there last year, thankfully, to have to deal with that. If that happens again, I mean, they're gonna move the game to Jerry World as soon as their
Yeah,
agreement is over. It just can't happen.
100%.
It just absolutely cannot happen. But other than that, it should be fun. It
I
always
like it.
is.
I like a 2:30 kick. We've had some great games at 2:30 kicks. Kind of that sun starts to set. Um,
Yeah,
the Mark Andrews, the Baker to Mark Andrews, when Ellinger had taken the lead in 2017.
17. Yeah, 2017. Yeah,
That was a
2:30 kickoff
2:30.
there.
That was a 2:30. The tickets that you went to, the COVID year was 2:30, right?
It was. No, wait a minute.
No,
No, that was 11.
no, it just went long, didn't it? It went long
Yeah,
because of
it
the
just took
overtime.
forever. Overtimes. That took forever.
That's right.
Looking back, I mean, I think the what was it, 2010 game? Was that one at 2:30?
I think so.
Remember that
Yeah,
one? With
yeah.
yeah, when basically when Texas's program was completely starting to crumble before our very eyes, and ended up being a pretty good game. I didn't think it would be, but kind of Aaron Williams from Texas kind of muffing the punt when Texas had a chance to go down and tie the game late.
Winchester recovered that punt, right? The long snapper.
Yeah, hustling down the field, man.
Yeah, still playing for Kansas City. He's only won like 9 Super Bowls since he's gone to the league. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
Uh, I, I don't know how hard a long snapper's job is, Kevin. Like, I don't know how to like rate that in terms of football and stuff, but I would
Yeah.
have to think that that's a pretty good gig to have in the NFL if you're good at it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you never have to switch teams. As long as you don't screw up, nobody even knows who you are.
And you
Perfect.
don't take a lot of I mean, you take some punishment, but you're taking punishment like 5 plays a game, 10 plays a game, maybe,
Yeah.
right? I
And
mean,
you
how many
really
punts?
can't you can't, and with the rules, you really can't go after the long snapper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean,
Yeah, they're trying to go through them, around them.
you might get blocked on a return or something, but it's very limited. It's very limited.
Yeah. I got
My wife is
your
my
schedule graphic
my
up there
wife
on
is
the screen.
my wife is giving me the lower my volume. Is the volume? Can I get a volume check? 13 minutes in, Kevin.
No, you're actually okay. You're okay.
Kevin says I'm okay. I get a
Just
thumbs up.
with you, you're still below your normal volume.
Well, I can get hot. I can get fired up for a 2:30 kick if you want me to, Kevin.
I think we're okay. You're kind of at the fired up level.
After last year and the debacle that was a 2:30 kick, I can get all fired up again. We can go all into the reasons why we sucked last year, and that'll bring the volume out of the roof. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm always glad to talk about you guys sucking. I mean, we can talk about that all day.
I don't want to
But
talk. I don't want to talk about us sucking. I don't want to talk about us having the worst offense in the history of the rivalry last year. It's possible that our offensive performance in 2022 was better than our offensive performance last year. It's possible. It's possible.
I mean, Texas was much better defensively as well. Are you talking about as a whole or just in that particular game?
I'm saying that last year was an abomination in terms of offense.
Yeah.
An abomination, especially when you have your starting quarterback and your other starting quarterback, right? At least in 22, you could make the argument that we did not have a quarterback that could complete a forward pass Ergo, you're going to have a bad offensive output. We had 2 quarterbacks, Jackson freaking Arnold as a 5-star and Michael Hawkins as a high 4-star or 5-star, whatever he was, getting the start. It wasn't for lack of quarterback talent in the room. It was because Seth Luttrell was the worst offensive coordinator in the history of Oklahoma football.
It was pretty bad, man. There's no other way to describe it. There's nothing I can really add to that.
No. But listen, we got Ben Arbuckle. We got John Mateer. Look, I think you look at the schedule, and you've got the schedule pulled up in terms of big games. But Oklahoma has Auburn, speaking of Jackson Arnold. You guys have Ohio State and Florida, right? Before Texas? Before Oklahoma?
That's right.
I worry. I don't worry about, well, I hope y'all lose. It would be awesome, though, in a sense, if we were both undefeated going to that game, of course. I think Oklahoma has a good chance to be undefeated in that game going into the game.
I completely agree.
Texas, though?
Oh, I think we have a good chance of being undefeated. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but you got to
play the games.
Yeah, I got to play it, but I think we have a chance of being undefeated as well. But I mean, going in, we just can't be going into that game with 2 losses.
Yeah, but you got to go on the road to Ohio State and on the road to Florida.
Correct.
I mean, it's
going to be a tough environment, very tough environment. I think we're a better team than Florida, but it's going to be an incredibly tough environment.
This is year 2 for Lagway.
Year 2 for Lagway. He was injured quite a bit, so he didn't have a full season. But year 2 of seeing things, an extremely talented 5-star quarterback. I still think we have the quarterback advantage going into that game, though. Same with Ohio State. I don't care who they put out there. Absolutely. I mean, I have zero doubt about that.
I agree with you on Ohio State. I'm not sure I can get there against Florida. Okay. I'm not sure I can get there against Florida. DJ Lagway's
I'll take Arch
he's pretty
all
special.
Day. You know how I feel about Lagway. I'm taking Arch all day long. All day.
Okay, well, we can recircle back to that because I think that's an interesting conversation.
Me too. It's a conversation worth having. I'm telling you how I feel about this, and I feel confident about that.
Would you take Mateer or Arch? You're riding with Arch even over Mateer?
Arch. Yeah, and I look, I'm a Mateer guy. I like Mateer. I think he's going to be great for you guys.
I did not know. I did not know that Kevin Miller was going to throw shade at DJ Lagway 18 minutes in of episode 182. But I think I'm going to have to figure out how to bookmark this, Kevin. I'm going to have to bookmark this because DJ Lagway didn't get a chance to play against y'all last year.
Lagway is look. You've heard me. You learned about DJ Lagway from me.
I also learned about Shedeur Sanders, and he didn't go until the 5th round. So what's that say about your quarterback evaluation?
He was still a really good college football quarterback. What are you talking about?
What does that? You and Mel Kiper are basically the same at quarterback prognostication.
I'm not a
draft choice.
I'm not a draft analyst, but I don't feel like I was wrong about Shedeur Sanders at all. There's a reason why everybody was surprised he fell, because he's a good football player.
This has nothing to do with anything. They keep showing highlights of Shedeur Sanders while saying that he doesn't have arm strength. And I look at that and I'm going, the highlight you just showed like a 40-yard dime he just threw, and it didn't look that hard. It's weird, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I'm not saying that he should have been a first-round pick. I don't even know. I'm just saying to say that he's just a 5th-round talent seems odd, especially when you see the production he had. And it wasn't all dump-offs to Travis Hunter.
No, he's throwing deep. He had a horrible offensive line. And look, he holds on to the ball too long. He tries to, but he's a tough guy, takes a lot of hits. He's willing to do that, right? You would think of someone like, if he had a, being Deion's son or whatever, he's trying to avoid contact. No. Dude got hit and kept getting up and kept battling.
Yeah.
So his toughness cannot be questioned.
We don't need to turn this
Either
into a
way, though,
shittier
yeah.
show.
And this
But
again, you know how I feel about Lagway. I'm the one who put you on him about how good he was, how talented he was. That's just how much I believe in Arch.
that is, I didn't know that was good. This is shocking. Okay, that's okay. Um, and then lastly, on the schedule, as far as the set schedule goes, you get to host A&M 6:30 ABC Week 14. What's it going to be like for A&M to come back to DKR?
I mean, it's going to be a great atmosphere. But with A&M, they've been in the SEC for so long; they're used to going on the road to tough environments, right? But I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun hosting them again. It's been so long, and hopefully we take care of business like we were able to last year down in Kyle Field.
Did you see Elko's comments that?
No, I didn't. What did he say now? He said some weird things already during his tenure as a Texas A&M coach.
All right. So the big thing on the SEC and college football playoff this year had everything to do with 9-3 teams not getting into the playoff, and the SEC plays such a hard schedule, and boo freaking who. You know what I mean? Like Alabama don't lose to Oklahoma. A&M don't lose
Not
to
only
Florida.
lose, lose, you get beat down. Alabama
You get beat down.
Destroyed.
Yeah. And the list goes on. Like, one thing I do not like, I'm going to get to what Elko said, but one thing I don't like being in the SEC is being lumped in with these guys that just complain about how tough the schedule is all the time. It's like, I thought we were in the SEC. Like,
Correct.
Suck it up. You're in a 12-team playoff. If you had a 9-game schedule, you're making it with 9-3 every year. Like, what are you complaining about?
Yes.
You
know who doesn't? You know who never complains about that? Kirby.
Who?
Kirby Smart. When they lose, they lose a game. He's like, "Hey, road games in the SEC, it's tough. This is what it is." He said this after they lost.
And that's why he's won 2 national championships, and Lane Kiffin still sits at 9-3 every year.
Yeah.
So anyway, Elko's complaining about tough schedules and this and that. He's like, I mean, we went toe to toe with Texas, and came up a little short, but we, that game could have gone either way. And I'm like, did he watch the same game?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to give Texas credit, but y'all owned A&M that day. They could do nothing.
Yeah, they couldn't really move the ball at all. They couldn't run it, couldn't throw it. Now our offense almost screwed it up. To where
if your offense doesn't
more competitive.
If your offense doesn't screw it up, you're winning 24-0.
Correct. Yeah, they couldn't move it at all.
I don't know, Elko. I think these coaches get in this SEC bubble and they feel like they can just say whatever they want, and cover it up with a hard schedule. And it's like, stop it, y'all. Stop being babies. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. And then to beg for automatic qualifiers for the SEC, you're already in the SEC. By default, you're going to get automatic. Whether they're automatic or not, we're gonna have 3 or 4 teams in every year. So
you'll get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, why do we have to be babies about it? Stop. God, I can't stand it.
Yeah, just go coach, man. If it's too hard, then go to the Pac-12. The old Pac-12. Go coach at some other school. Go to the Big 12.
What? We haven't even talked about this yet. You saw that USC is trying to weasel out of playing Notre Dame. Speaking of great rivalries.
Okay, I didn't realize who was leading the charge in that rivalry ending.
Kevin, are you joking right now? You're telling me between Marcus Freeman and Lincoln Riley didn't know who was trying to get out of playing the game?
Wait, is this a head coach thing? Or are you just assuming? If you're assuming, that's fine. But do you have facts here? What do you got?
Sorry, we might have hit a bad spot there. Did you hear what I said between Lincoln Riley and Marcus Freeman? You didn't know who was trying to get out of the game.
Hey, you never know. These things start from up top.
Kevin, you are out of your mind. This is a man that literally ran from the SEC because he didn't want to be in an SEC 8-game schedule. He goes to the Pac-12 only to find out he has to go to the Big Ten, and now he doesn't want to play one of the great rivalries in college football because he's chicken. The S word, Kevin. The S word.
You didn't have to say that. We all knew what you meant.
Yeah. I'm not as active on the Twitter as I normally am during college football season, but over the last 2 weeks, I just had to post as a response to this Notre Dame situation that Lincoln is a chicken ass, and I've had more likes on that post than anything I've ever gotten. It's unbelievable. That's all I had to post.
Yeah. Well, any chance you guys have to bash Lincoln Riley, you guys are going to do it. Not that I'm upset about it.
All I'm saying is SC and Notre Dame is a college football rivalry that has no reason to end. There's no reason to end. I don't even know what we're talking about.
No. It doesn't. Like, zero reason.
I mean, Notre Dame was in the playoff last year because
right.
they had, I don't know. It's whatever. That's either here or there. All right. Let's jump to OU and Texas softball. I'm not sure what time the first pitch is on Saturday, but they do play Saturday. Both teams get a rest. Oklahoma, of course, coming off of just a darn near miraculous win. I guess the question comes down to, Kevin, did you watch the game? Did you see it?
I actually did see the very end. I didn't see the entire thing, but I did see probably from the 5th inning on.
I watched most of the game and then listened to the last 2 innings on the radio. Great call, Plank, by the way. But Carlin Pickens for Tennessee is a 6'1". If you can call a woman athlete a stud, she's a stud. Like, she can spin that ball. We're talking upwards 78, 79 miles an hour on a softball.
Yeah, she has the record. She has a record for the fastest recorded pitch in the history of the sport.
And so she did give up an early home run to Ella Parker in the bottom of the first. Outside of that, she really dominated Oklahoma. They didn't score again until the 7th, so she really was doing the right things. They get to the 9th, 4 straight pitches, puts a runner on base. She does get 2 outs. Then Cassidy Pickering hits a single. Now you've got Ella Parker. So you've got 2 on, 2 out, down 2, to the only player that's had any success against her. And they decide to pitch to her? What is Tennessee thinking?
Yeah, it's very odd. And I understand believing in your pitcher when she's the best pitcher in the country, arguably, but, let's be smart here. There's a lot on the line.
I don't care.
There's no need to risk it there.
I don't care if you have Jordy Ball, Najiri Canaday out of Texas Tech now. I don't care who you have on the mound. It's just softball. It's just softball.
Correct. Yeah.
You walk her, and then you got to force out at every base, and you've got somebody that hasn't been seeing the ball very well. The OU announcing crew was shocked that they pitched to her, and I bet if Tennessee coach had a chance, they'd take that back in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat OU in softball, period. It's even harder to beat them in Oklahoma City, and you had a chance to do it and you blew it. And now you're Tennessee, you're in the losers bracket now, losers part of the bracket. Still have a chance, right? Not over, but it just would have been a lot of momentum for them, and then they would have put a lot of pressure on OU going down into the loser bracket, having to face a Florida team that you've lost to earlier this season. So really puts the pressure on. Yeah, the series too. So really would have put the pressure on OU. Now, you have a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence going up against a Texas team that, you really controlled earlier this year.
Well, especially when Sam Landry had to pitch like 140 pitches. If you turn around and have to play today, which is on Friday, I mean, that just puts Oklahoma in a really bad spot. It would have been the win it's monumental on so many levels. Besides just the manner in which it happened, strategically within the bracket, it was a must win, and somehow Patty Gasso and that team pulled it off.
Correct. And like I said at the beginning, you have to bury this team. You can't feel comfortable even in the bottom of the 7, even though the bats hadn't been there the entire game. You get a walk, you get another person on, so you got 2 on, and then starts to get in your head of one bad pitch, and it's over, just like that. So we'll see how they can recover. Tennessee, I've got the bracket up, so they'll face Florida in an elimination game tonight at 6:00.
That's no joke.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and to have to play your rival, it's crazy. We'll have 2 rivalry games in this bracket. So as far as the Texas and Oklahoma game goes, who knows, right? I mean, OU's kind of come in with a lot of confidence now coming off that walk-on, and we'll see the approach that Texas has. Mike White has not coached at his best against Patty Gasso, which, I mean, who really does, right? I mean,
that's,
so we'll see.
I mean, that's because Mike White, he chokes. He chokes around Patty. He can't handle it. I mean, it's just the way it is. I don't know any other way to describe it. I will say this about Texas. I watched that game too against Florida. That's the best you guys have looked all season.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It was a complete pitching game, offensive game. Here's what I've said all season. I don't want to jinx us, but I've said this all season. This is the chance for Texas to knock out OU, because it's not going to happen in the final series. He cannot beat Patty Gasso in a 3-game series. However, you got who's your pitcher? Am I saying it right? Cavan, Kavan, Tegan. If she has a good day pitching and we don't get the runs, then Texas has a chance, right? And especially in this kind of environment. I'm not saying Texas doesn't have a chance. This is Texas's best chance to deal a death blow to OU.
Correct.
That being said, dude, it's still Mike White. It's still in Oklahoma City, and we get to pitch our ace too, and Sam Landry and two.
Well, it's not even that it's Mike White; it's that it's Patty Gasso. More importantly, it's just who you're facing. I think Texas is good enough, but it's hard for me to see them, as hopeful as I am. It's hard for me to see them getting out of this bracket with OU. I think once they put them on the same side of the bracket, it was hard to envision anybody else but OU advancing to the finals. But we'll see, man. We'll see. But I've said all year, if you want to win, if you're Texas, you have to go through OU. There's no going around them. You've got to go right through them.
If just one more comment on OU softball. Is there any other team in sports that you can compare to a team that just believes they are going to win until the very last moment of every game they're in? I mean, this is a team that's had to replace 7 starters, their starting pitcher, and yet somehow they find themselves in this position again. They find themselves against the best pitcher in college softball, arguably. Najeri Candidate makes a pretty good argument.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At least she has the best tools.
They found themselves down 2 runs, and yet there's a belief that they're going to win this game. And I got to tell you, Kevin, I don't know that I've ever seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's hard to compare that with any other sport. Yeah, I mean, you have programs like that who always kind of believe in themselves, but it's just not realistic like that.
The only sport, and I thought about this before I asked the question, the only sport that I can even compare it to is like Tiger Woods between 2000 and 2004.
Yeah.
When his win percentage on tour was like 26%, his major win percentage was like 38%, and you just never thought he was going to lose. He was always going to find a way to win. And I don't think I'm too off base with that comparison. Do you?
I don't think so. And just like, because I think it gets in the with Tiger, it definitely got in the head of his opponents, Phil Mickelson most notably. And I think it gets in OU's opponent's head, even in the bottom of the 7th. It's like, okay, are we going to even be able to close this out despite having a multi-run lead in the bottom of the 7th inning, despite their offense doing hardly nothing for the entire game? can we still close this out? And yeah, it's a thing now that everybody's aware of.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Okay. Last topic from the road. Kevin, you were in Oklahoma City for Game 5. You saw the awarding of the Western Conference Finals trophy. Give me your breakdown of the game, the series, and really just this Thunder team. I mean, they're going to play the winner of New York, Indiana. It is going to go to a Game 6 as of last night. You can talk about who they're going to play. Just give us your NBA breakdown right now.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's been great to have had the opportunity to be present for these playoff games. And yeah, I mean, it was just a big party. Minnesota just didn't have it. They got some really good looks in the first quarter, and those guys who were on fire in Game 4, most notably the likes of Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Jaden McDaniels, they couldn't hit anything. I mean, they got open look after open look, and they couldn't make their shots. This game was over really after the first quarter. Thunder were up 18. They only scored 9 points. Minnesota scored 9 points in the first quarter. Look, when your season's on the line and you only scored 9 points in the first quarter, I mean, it's over. It was over. The defense had them so frustrated. They couldn't do what they were comfortable doing at all. And when those other guys weren't making shots, they had no chance. So, yeah, this has been great.
How do you explain the cognitive dissonance of Anthony Edwards and his ability to rationalize that their defense wasn't so good? It was just, he just didn't have the right stuff in 2 nights.
He's a guy, I think, that is so confident. And it's like, is he faking this? Because he will never let you see him lacking confidence. I think that's what it is. He's still a very young guy, 23 years old. We've got to remember that. I think he'll be fine. I'm a big fan of his. But the Thunder clearly was like, somebody else is going to have to beat us. It's not going to be you. We talked about that. And it's kind of like the old Bill Belichick deal for the Patriots, right? When they're on their run, what do you do best? Whatever it is you do best, we're going to take away. And you're going to have to find another way to beat us. So if you have a dynamic wide receiver, we're going to double him on every play. Kind of like on a lesser extent what Texas' game plan was against Jeremiah Smith. Obviously, they still end up losing that game, but it's like, we're not losing because of this guy. You got other guys, but this guy can't beat us. And that's the approach that they took with Anthony Edwards. They're blitzing him. Lou Dort is glued to him. The defense is sitting there watching him. If he has the ball, as soon as he puts the ball on the ground, here comes the second defender. So either you're going to have to do something magical or you're going to have to pass the ball. And if these other guys can beat us, have at it. And they did it in Game 4, still lost the game. And then in Game 5, those shots weren't making, so they had no chance.
I mean, whoever the Thunder play in the finals, which I think it'll be the Pacers, but who knows? The Knicks could bounce back, I guess. I mean, I don't think they got the offensive tools. I mean, Halliburton is a hell of a player. Like,
yes.
He's on another level right now. But when you can throw Dort, Caruso, and Case and Wallace at him, just and use the same blueprint that you used against Minnesota, I'm just not sure they've got the firepower to beat the Thunder.
Yeah, the defense is too good, man. It's too many. It's just too many players that they can throw at their scores. It's too much. So you have to have great games from your other guys. That's the only way it works.
I don't know, man. I think we're watching a historic run. I think you're seeing the maturity of Oklahoma City's players like J-Dub and Chet start to really shine through. And the reality is it's defense, man.
Yeah.
It's defense. And if you can win these you look, Pistons were a defensive team at their heart. Even the Bulls back in the day were a defensive team.
Right.
When Kobe was really rolling, it was Ron Artest and Kobe Bryant, and it was defense. You even
let's
go
not
back,
forget
even
the early 2000 Lakers teams with
yes,
Kobe and Shaq. And that's when Kobe was at his peak defensively. I mean, it was unbelievable trying to score against them.
well, even think about the most offensive teams, right? So, like, look at Golden State as an example. Dude, they still had Draymond Green
They
playing
played
defense,
great defense. Yeah.
and who's the other shooter? Klay Thompson was
Klay
he was a
Thompson,
really
yep.
good two-way player.
Great defensive player. Yeah, all NBA
And
level
so
defensive players.
it's just look, I don't know what Sam Presti's going to do long run. I'm trying not to even think about it. Although I think we've got a lot of good options, I'm trying not to even think about it because I just want to be in this moment, because I think this moment right now is historic for Oklahoma City, obviously.
For sure. Sure, yeah. I mean, I remember being in San Antonio in 1999 when they won their first title, and it was awesome. And then when they did it again in '03, it was even better. So, yeah, these kind of moments, you can't take them for granted because they don't come around very often.
Are you
So,
going to the finals? You got finals tickets?
I do. Thankfully, yeah, I do.
You're such a baller, Kevin. You're
Please.
such a baller with your finals tickets.
Well,
Listen.
we'll talk off air. I got something to tell you about that. So,
Uh-oh. All right. Hey, Kevin, thank you for doing this on the road with me. If there was any sound quality issues, that's on my end, not Kevin's. We'll do the best we can in post to clean it all up. We appreciate all the listeners. Enjoy the softball. Enjoy the Thunder starting next week. We might even have a show before the Thunder play again, so we'll probably preview the finals. But, Kevin, have a great weekend. Boomer.
okay.